Good evening. Good evening. I am so happy to be back. I am hoping that everyone has been doing well on your healing journey. I know I have been doing amazing, and I got some great things that I want to share tonight. And I think this topic tonight is befitting for us going into our Mother's Day weekend. I want to encourage some mothers out there. Y'all got to forgive me. This pollen out here is thick, and I am doing my best um, to work through it. So just bear with me. So please like and share. I want to talk about tonight the ugly place in healing. Um, I really want to talk to the moms out there that may have lost children to gun violence, and this may be your first Mother's Day without them. And I just want to share with you. I just want to share with you my journey in healing from when I lost my son. I just want to show you that yeah, it is an ugly place, but it's a necessary place. So I just really want to share, and I want to say happy Mother's Day, and I really want to dig in tonight. I'm just gonna please like and share, and you can follow us on our Instagram, Circle of Healing VA. um and then that way we can get rolling tonight. I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you so much. Um, so let's dig in. When I wanted to talk about um, the ugly side or the ugly place for healing, I just want to, kind of talk tonight. I just really want to pull on my heart strings tonight for mothers out there, especially the mothers that have lost children to gun violence. That's where I want to land at tonight because it's hard going into this Mother's Day. And I want to encourage someone. I want to encourage someone where that it's really raw, it's really new for them. I really want to, share my story with them. You know, I just remember in the beginning stages, my son was murdered in March of 2021, and I just remember, that there were days that, I just didn't even know how I was functioning. And I didn't even know how I was I felt like I was having an out of body experience. So if you're feeling that out of body experience, that's definitely is normal. I didn't know that that was normal, but now that I know that in this ugly place of the healing, you have to experience every feeling that comes up, every emotion. Um, I remember just experiencing emotions that I didn't even know that like existed. I really can't even put that into words. I mean, the pain and the agony, the hurt, those are the things that just pulled at you. I just remember surrendering to being in this ugly place. I remember when there were days where I couldn't even get dressed. I remember there were days when I could not even, I didn't even remember whether or not I brushed my teeth or combed my hair. But those are the sides that people don't see when you're going through your healing process, when you're going through your grieving process. People don't see that. They don't see when you have, when you're all made, they only see when you're all made up and you're all pretty. They don't see when, you don't remember the last time you showered. Don't remember the last time that you brush your teeth or even eating, it takes you to a very dark place. When you are going through the healing process, it has an ugly side. But I tell you that ugly side is necessary. Me looking back now 4 years later, I now understand that if I would not have taken the time to go through every single emotion with losing my son, I would not be any good to anybody in my life. I would not be good for anybody. I wouldn't be good for my husband. I wouldn't be good for my other children. I wouldn't be good for my friends, my family, my community. I wouldn't be good for anybody. But because I decided to take the time to to process it, I took the time to process the loss and know that it's ugly, but it's necessary. You know, I remember feeling so isolated. I remember, because, when you go through the funeral process and all of that, you have people calling and all of that good stuff. But then after the funeral, when the phone stops ringing and you realize that your life is never going to be the same, and you have to go through the process of just being in that lonely place, feeling abandoned, and especially with the loss of a child. Because at that moment, I felt like I was the only person, the only woman on earth that has experienced that. Not only that, you know, not only the mental part, I also want to talk about the physical part my body went through. My body went through as if I was having a miscarriage when I found out that my son was murdered. Through the process of this healing, my body went through like as if I was having a miscarriage. And my body had that was the way my body was reacting to this. These are things that, we don't talk about. So if we think about how many losses we've had, and we have mothers experiencing this, I need you to understand that there is a light on the other side. You're gonna go through the test of your life with this. I can say this, um, if I'm telling you, I could have lost my mind, but because I allow myself to go through the journey and the pain, it's almost like, and women, we understand birthing pains. It's almost going back into having birthing pains, but it's not those pains because you know you're going to be bringing forth that child. It's because you know you've lost that child. And I was, then you also deal with feeling guilty that you lost a child. It's a blessing to, that God has given you to have a child, to be able to create life, to be able to give life. And for you to, you're responsible for that life, and to know that somebody else, you know, at their hands took that life and it was nothing you could do, but you still hold the guilt. The biggest part of, this ugly place is dealing with the guilt of what if, because I had just talked to my son right before, right before, and then I always thought about what I could have said, what I should have said. I should have had him to, come to the house first. And, those things, run, those run rampant in your head. And those were things that I had to definitely talk to my therapist about. I definitely had to process that. Not only that, to be able to, you know, I laid in my bed, y'all, and the siren that I heard, I had no clue that that rescue squad was on the way to try to save my son's life. So I had no other choice but to go to this ugly place. I had no other choice but to endure, you know, the guilt. I went through that process. That's part of the process. I went through the shame and embarrassment. You know, people will make you feel ashamed that, you lost your child to no fault of your own. I remember one time, I mean, I remember when it happened, like I had somebody that, I guess it was, um, I guess it was, thank you for being on tonight. Please, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. You know, I remember, when I went through you know, I had somebody to inbox me, call me. They had never called me before. And I remember them calling me. I remember them calling me and wanting to know was it true about my son. And the funny thing is that she didn't call me anymore after that once she found out the news. So, sometimes, you don't know people's intentions when you going through. When you going through, you really don't even you don't know people's intentions. And then not only that, they isolate you out, not even knowing the situation, not even knowing the circumstances of what happened. These are the things that we have, our mothers that are walking around right now. And I want you to know that that embarrassment and that shame, all of that is a part of the process. And even if you haven't maybe possibly even, um, you know, even thought about that these are the things that you're going to be walking through, even in other things in your life. It may not even be the loss of a child. It can be the ugly side of just healing from whatever that has held you bound for the last 10 years, the last 20 years, whatever has kept you bound, whatever has kept you from being able to grow into the person you want to be. All I know is that I know that I wanted to grow from this. I wanted to heal from this. And I did, and all I know was that the more I began to talk about it, the more I began to say that I know I'm not the only one that's experiencing it, but I guess I would be the one to be willing to put my life on display just to heal somebody else, just to help somebody else. See, I'm understanding this life now. It ain't really about all the things that you accomplish, all the things that you do. It's about how you can help somebody else. And if my story can help somebody else, if the pain that I had to endure, if it can help somebody else, I want you to know that I'm willing to be that person. I'm willing to be that vessel to say that I know that people are hurting. I know that what they're going through, no one can imagine that. No one can imagine what you are enduring. I had the privilege of being able to, stay home for like almost 8 months to be able to mourn the loss of my son. And I want you to know that I thought about, me when I connected with other mothers that had lost children to gun violence that had to go back to work within 7 days. I couldn't even imagine the 7 days after me losing my son. I couldn't even think. I didn't even know my name. You know, but these corporations, these jobs, they expect us to basically be back at work and normal. The impact. So imagine that you going through this ugly place. Not only you grieving the loss, but now you got to deal with the guilt. You got to deal with the shame. You got to deal with the embarrassment, and now you can't even sit in your process of healing. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I am grateful for, sidebar, I am grateful for my mother that she taught me about having life insurance and all of that. If it was not that my son had some life insurance, I would not have been able to build this beautiful home that God has blessed my family with and lay in here for 8 months and be able to heal. Y'all make sure y'all get y'all some life insurance. I got some people that I'm gonna want to try to connect to so we can do that too. But I tell you a whole resource. But I'm telling you all the ugly side of it. And then not only that, being able to function again. You know, you have to understand that you are dying to the life that you knew. How do you die from a life that you didn't want to die from? How do you do that? It's ugly, y'all. It's an ugly thing. It's an ugly place to be. Isolation. You processing this thing. Can you imagine your body going through like a miscarriage and you know you're not pregnant, but you have a loss. You have a loss that cannot be replaced. And can I just, because this is real talk and I'm about real talking, it was even just to even go here for a moment, it was even hard for me and my husband to even be intimate after my us losing our son because I don't know, in some crazy way it was just us thinking that we could possibly make him again. We know that wasn't possible, but you have to understand that, where our heads were then. It was so hard for us to connect back in that place, you know. But then also there's healing in that also, y'all. You know that song Sexual Healing? It's when you are connected to your soulmate, when you connected to your partner, that's when you are intimate. Just a little sidebar for you. There's also healing when there's, when you're with your soulmate. I'm gonna just leave that there. When you're connecting to who you're supposed to be connecting with. There's healing, it's so many different, avenues to that. I'll talk about that another time. But tonight, I knew that I had to go through every emotion that there was possibly out there for me to express. I remember that there was times that I wanted to scream. I wanted to scream. And I know you probably said, why did you just scream? I could not let it out. I could not let that scream out. The pain, the weight, the hurt, the anguish, the devastation, the loss was so great that I could not. I could not. I remember sitting at my island over there. I remember me just sitting there wanting to scream and not being able to do it. And all I said was, all I want to do is just scream. And I want you to know when I was able to do that, that was recent, y'all. That was recently. I mean, like recently, I was able to release the scream that I really wanted to over the years. I could do it a little, but I actually was able to release a scream that released all of this pain, all of this anguish, all of the brokenness. knowing that it's okay that I'm having to start over. It's not that I'm starting with a new blueprint. It makes me, and it makes you parent different. It makes you parent different when you've had a loss like that. I don't care, whatever you're doing, make sure that you checking in and you checking in once, twice, locations, all of that, doing all of that, and making sure that you leave a space for yourself to heal. Maybe you couldn't do like I did and be able to stay at home and grieve it. But in your time that you can, whatever that you need to grieve in your life, you have to do it and able to be able to move forward. All I know is that in my life, all I want to do now is to be able to leave a legacy for my children. I want to be able to let my community know that there is healing, that there is a process, there is a way to heal. Helping another mother that is not there, another one that's angry, that's upset, that's going through the guilt and the shame and the embarrassment. Those are those real emotions. Those are those emotions that cause you to spiral out of control. And the one thing I know that I did not want to do is I did not want to spiral out of control. See, I've been that person. I've been that turn up person, tear up, tear up, tear up, tear down. I've been that person. And I know in this process, I did not want to be that person. I did not want to be destructive. I wanted to build from off of this. And that's what I'm encouraging. I'm encouraging you to build off of whatever has torn you down, whatever has broken you, whatever has caused you to derail your purpose. I want to let you know that it has not derailed your purpose. It has not derailed my purpose. Actually, I know now that the loss of my son was just my purpose. It was pushing me into my purpose, into my goals. Whatever you're going through, whatever it is, whatever has broken you, whatever has caused you pain, whatever has caused you anguish, wherever you're not comfortable, that ugly place is where you get your purpose. I would have never pushed forward so hard with this, my circle of healing. You know, I would never move forward to, being able to be a grief life coach. I would not be moving forward with these things if I would not share. If I would not share this ugly side, the side where I had to just wear a mask for just so long, for 3 2 and 2.5 3 years, just wearing a mask just to get up and just to function. I would be less of a person, less of a mother if I was not able to share how I came out on the other side. And I came out on the other side by going through the process, going through the guilt, going through the shame, going through the emotions, going through the embarrassment, keeping my head up, knowing that on the other side, I was going to come out good. I was going to come out on the other side stronger. And when I mean stronger, I mean with the strength to move forward, not putting nobody else's stuff on my shoulders. This has now made me a better person, a stronger person, knowing that no matter what, I'm going to leave a legacy of healing. No matter what, I'm going to build my community off of it. That if I can help another mother, if I can help another family, if I can show somebody else that if you just go to the ugly place, if you just, reach out and get the help that you need and get the strength, put on the strength to be able to get the help to talk to somebody, to walk it out. The one thing is that even though there were days when I couldn't even function, I knew I had to just get up and just move. If I could just move from one spot to another, I had accomplished something that day. Being able to lay in it, and then being able to now tell somebody else that please take the time to mourn. Please take the time to go to that ugly place, that broken place. Yeah, I felt abandoned, but now I understand that going to that place also was reshaping me because now I handle things differently. I I go I don't let people shape me into who they thought they I don't let them hold me bound to who I used to be. I guess that's a better way for me to say it. I no longer allow that. This is who I am. This is what you get. I'm in a space of healing. And if you're not about that, then I don't want to be a part of anything that you have going on. If you're not in a place of building yourself and being able to say that I can go to this ugly place, I can go to this place to be able to heal. See, the one thing about it now is that I really don't care how people judge or how people look at me because when you've endured what I've endured and when the strength that I've had to put on, I could care less who, what, where, or what they think about me. And if you are against a person that is promoting healing, then hey, I don't know what to say. All I know is that we got a community that's hurting, and I am committed to my own healing. I am committed to my family's healing. I'm committed to my community's healing. And if me coming on here to be vulnerable and to tell my story help somebody else, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to do just that, because I want to show that there is another side after you go through that ugly place. After I also even want to share the part, I want to make sure that, going through the ugly part of when, facing the fact that you may have to take some type of medication for a little while, you know. Um, I remember me having to, humble myself because, not being able to sleep, not being able to eat, not even to function. It's okay. It's okay as long as you are doing safely with the help of a therapist and, my regular doctor, they work closely with you. I had to take medication for a time and a period because if I didn't, I probably would have lost it. I wouldn't probably be sitting here to tell you my story. I wouldn't be sitting here being vulnerable going into this Mother's Day weekend. And the great thing about it is I'm in such a healing place that I'm going into this weekend just I'm not sad. I'm not in a sad place. I'm happy, healed, and whole because I went to that ugly place. You know, I remember having to take a medication to get up and a medication to go to sleep. That's where I was at that time in my life. I remember, losing hair and I remember just, going through it was ugly. But I just look at me now on the other side. Now I'm willing to share my story. Now I'm doing workshops to help other people. I'm telling you, I wouldn't change anything. I would change one thing. I wouldn't have lost my son. But I'm talking about what is growing out of it is what I want to really focus on. And I know, and all I want to do, I want to take these last few minutes, and I want to encourage that mother. I want to encourage you that go to that ugly place, whatever that ugly place thing may be. It may not be a loss of a child, whatever that ugly place is. Go there, heal that place, and then when you come out of that 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 broken place, then you'll be walking into your purpose. See, I'm just taking my message, my mess, and making a message. I'm just taking my brokenness that I put back together and making it my message. And my message is that you can heal from anything. If you can, I'm telling you, if I can heal from the loss of a kid, you can heal from whatever you healing from. You need to heal from. If you yield yourself to it, if you lead yourself to that ugly place, take time. Now I'm at a place now. You can even schedule. I'm such at a place where you can even schedule times to you know cry. This is because you have learned to departmentalize all these things. You know, when you're in a space of healing, you're able to be able to pull those emotions out sometimes when you really know that you need to go there, and allowing yourself to go there. It don't make you weak to shed tears. It don't weeping is also a form of healing. Every emotion, those pain, and I had to pay attention to when I talked about the loss and the hurt. I had to pay attention to where I felt that pain in my body, and knowing where it was and how it affected me. See, those are the places that you have to nourish, and you have to focus on. You have to make sure that you give that special attention to. It's possible, y'all. And I'm so excited about it. I'm excited that if you only stay committed to your healing. See, the one thing I know was that I wanted to heal from that. And now, because we go through cycles, and we will all, as long as we're living, we will always be healing from something. We will be always healing from something, but you don't have to take so long to heal from it. When you surrender to the process and the ugly place and the ugly side of things, then you can move on from it and learn from it and make it a message and make it a purpose, you know, and being vulnerable. It's not easy being able to be vulnerable to tell your story of, how ugly it got for you, the pain you endured, the suffering you endured, the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment. But I tell you how I'm coming out on the other side. I'm coming out on the other side a better person, a wholer person, a person that's living life in her own lane, helping others to find purpose in whatever they have to endure. Your story may not be my story, but you know there's something that you need to, there's something that that you desire to take to that ugly place to be able to heal and recover from. Until you take yourself to that place, until you want say you want to be whole from it. That's all I wanted to be. I just wanted to be whole again, you know, and walking into being this new person, and doing new things and trying new things and what works for my family now. I we even got a rescue this week, and his name is Marshmallow, and we call him Mellow. And when I tell you this, we don't they don't even know his real story. We don't even know his real story. We don't even know when he was born. We're thinking he's maybe like 2 years old. He is a miniature poodle, and y'all, when I tell you that this puppy has brought the last piece to our healing. I mean, I don't know his story. We don't know his story. But when I tell you, like, his name, we call him Mellow, and he is the most chillest um, puppy you want to meet. I'm telling you, like, we have like fallen in love with him within like 48 hours. I mean, he brings a calmness to the house. He brings like that missing little piece. And when I tell you, like, and I'm like, wow, we don't even know what his story is or whatever. But all I know is that whatever his story was, whatever his journey was, now he's coming here and he's rewriting his story, and he's fitting right in. So all I'm saying too is you can rewrite your story. Whatever you thought that bad destiny was, is now you can rewrite it. See, I'm rewriting my story. And I'm rewriting my story by telling my story and being vulnerable. And just like Lil Mello, he's rewriting his story. When I tell you, like, he is the chillest, I mean, and I'm thinking he's starting over. You can start over. You now hold the cards. I hold the cards. I hold the hand. I hold all the power on how I want my story to be told. And on this Mother's Day, this Mother's Day weekend, I want to especially tell my mother Happy Mother's Day. I want to tell all the mothers out there, but I especially want to talk to that mother that's dealing with that loss. Sis, I know what you're feeling. And I want you to know that I'm going to lift you up in prayer. I'm a woman of faith. And even that one that even whatever it may be, whatever that ugly place that you're having to go through. I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. And I want you to know that you won't always be in that guilty place, and you won't be always in that shameful place. You won't always be in that place of embarrassment. If you decide to go ahead and walk in that ugly space, on that ugly side, and get through it, you can come out and have a beautiful story to be able to help somebody else. And if your life and your story is not building up somebody else, just know that means it's tearing something down. And that's not what I want my story to end. That's not how I want to leave a legacy of healing and a legacy of who my son was. I want to live a life of just building me, building my family, building my community. And now I'm on the side of just being blessed. I want you to know that starting in June, I will be doing a community workshop, and it's going to be the healing, grieving, and healing workshop, 1-on-1, Warden Avenue in the Manchester area. See, this is how you come out on the other side, making what thought you was that was going to destroy you now your message. I'm going to be helping my community now go through the grieving process. And that's why I need you to like and share it, because I want to make sure that I bring this to my community. I want to bring what I have been able to experience and be able to come out on the other side. I'm excited more about that. Like, share, and follow. Follow us on Instagram at our Circle of Healing VA. I am just excited about what is to come. I'm doing more of these podcasts. We're going to start going live. We're going to start having some guests on here, some women that have walked through some things in life. We're just going to continue to keep talking, keep building one another. I'm all about building. I'm about happiness, healness, wholeness. I am just excited about all these things to come. And hey, this is your girl Vonda. Y'all stay connected. Y'all keep pushing forward. Go if you have to go to that ugly place, go there. It's necessary. I'm telling you, I am a living witness that if you go through the process, if you go through your get through, if you get through your go through, I'm telling you, I am a living witness that if you endure the pain, if you endure the ugly place, you can come out on the other side. You can come out on the other side of this thing, y'all. I mean, building yourself back up, but going to that ugly place. Like I told you, the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment, all of that. If you can endure all of that, I am taking this mess and making a message. Whatever that hurt, whatever that pain, go to that place of ugliness. If you gotta talk to a therapist, if you whoever you gotta talk to, therapy saved my life, y'all. Medication saved my life, y'all. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I'm not embarrassed to say that I was at a place in my life that if I did not do that, the isolation, all of that. I'm telling you, 4 years of isolation, 4 years of being able to endure, and now I'm ready to pour back. But this Mother's Day weekend, I want you to know that if you in that place of guilt, if you in that place of shame, if you in that place of embarrassment, I understand. That's that ugly place. And as not, you have to stay there as long and as long as you need. See, the one thing about healing is that I find that it's not a time frame. It's not a time frame. It is not an event. It's a process. If you are willing to be, we invest time in anything that we want. But when you begin to invest time in your healing, it's different. It's different when you decide that you are going to go through. It's different. It's a different side. It's a different purpose. Go to that ugly place. Endure whatever you have to endure. Whatever it takes for you to be able to get back on the other side. Like I said, I'm gonna wrap this thing up tonight, you guys. If you can like and share, and like I said, great things are coming. Like I said, next month, I will be partnering with um, one of the trauma response network, and I am excited. I'm excited to bring this to you. And hey, enjoy your weekend. Even if your weekend is in a place where you really don't feel you want to be, even if you're in that ugly place this weekend, it's okay. Give yourself permission. But I will tell you this, pick yourself up just a little bit, enough to say that I can fight and I can fight on. I can put on enough strength. If I can do it, you can do it. I am committed to my healing. I stay committed, and I'm committed to coming back. I'm committed to coming back every opportunity that I can to be able to help build somebody else. This is your girl Vonda. I'm out of here, y'all. Happy Mother's Day. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you taking your time to just listen to my story. And if my story, you know, that can help somebody else, share it with somebody else. I thank you. This is your girl Vonda. I'll talk to you real soon.